What's good with y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about limiting beliefs. First things first, I'm not holding the camera with my hands, I'm holding it with my feet. If you ain't noticed that, yes, I am holding the camera with my feet. Limiting beliefs, beliefs that are limiting you. That's what a limiting belief is. So I want to tell you this story. This is about 2 years ago. I was on lunch break with a coworker. So I was looking at her. I told her, I was like, you know what I like to do? I like to drive through rich neighborhoods. So we drove through a rich neighborhood, right? Looking at the mansions. The girl looks at me and she says, "This isn't fair." I'm like, "Fuck you mean this ain't fair?" And obviously she was talking about like how big they mansions is and shit. Both of us, we didn't come from money. We weren't used to big shit like that. So I'm like, that's a limiting belief. So I say this to say, would you play a video game if you knew it was rigged or it wasn't fair? Hell the fuck no, you wouldn't, right? So if you're looking at a big ass mansion and saying this isn't fair, you're literally blocking yourself from being able to ever obtain this, right? You're limiting yourself. How is this not fair? They worked hard just like me and you was working hard. Maybe they know more people. Maybe they did things a little different, bruh. Whatever, bruh. But it's fair. But I say this to say, stop limiting yourself, bro. Alright? I hear a lot of men when it comes to women. Oh, you gotta be tall, you gotta be handsome, and you gotta have money to pull these women. No, the fuck you don't, bruh. What's going on inside of you, bruh? I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but bro, that's a limiting belief. There's women out there that like short men. I know plenty of short men that get hella women. I know plenty of broke dudes that get hella women, bro. Right? Stop limiting yourself. Our minds look for things to prove what we believe, right? So if I say, for example, I gave this in one of my last videos. I said, think about a number. Think about the number 5. Now, once you got the number 5 in your fucking head, you're gonna notice it everywhere. It was always there. You just didn't realize it until you thought about it, right? So I say this to say, if you keep saying shit is hard, your brain is gonna look for evidence to prove that it's hard instead of thinking it's easy. When you think it's easy, your brain is gonna look for things to prove that it's easy, right? Like, I used to think waking up early and shit, that shit was not for me. That shit was hard, you feel me? Now I wake up early with no fucking problem, bro. And also, our brain is gonna look for evidence to prove it based on what we experienced in life, right? So let's say you have this thought of saying, God damn, nigga, I'm unlovable. You're gonna look for evidence to prove that you're unlovable. With like let's say your mama used to beat you. That's evidence right there. So how to break a limiting belief? You wanna look back into your past. You wanna look back into your childhood, whatever. Maybe school. Look back. Why do I think this way? Why? Right? So once you identify why you think this way, you're going to forgive yourself first for even believing that. Then you wanna forgive. You just wanna forgive even the people for putting trauma on you like that. Forgive it, then you wanna replace it with a empowering belief. Instead of saying, I am unlovable, say, I am lovable. People like being around me. I make people's day better. You feel me? Start saying empowering shit like that. Because guess what? If you say a thought one time, that's not going to be a strong belief. That's just a thought. But if you keep saying it, let's say you say it 50 times, that becomes a belief. And that shit gets stored in your subconscious. So once it's in your subconscious, you're going to be acting like that. You're going to be carrying yourself like that without even thinking about it, bro. So drop these limiting beliefs. Drop them, bro. Watch how your life changes. And it be low-key sad too. Man, this sun is beaming directly on me. Let me turn this way. But bro, it low-key be sad sometimes because it's like, especially when you see people around you, they have these limiting beliefs. And I'm like, bro, you could be so much more. You could be so much more than what you are, bro. And I listen to people closely when they speak. And I listen, I'm like, I hear certain words that they say or how they say shit. And I'm like, bro, why do you think that way? Why do you have a victim mentality? Why are you limiting yourself? You feel me? And that shit makes me look at people sideways. I'm like, bro, life don't even gotta be this way. You're just making it this way because in your head, right? We suffer more in our head than in reality, right? Get rid of these limiting beliefs and watch your life change for the fucking better, bro. Dead ass. Even if it gets to a point of delusion, it's okay to be a little delusional. You think anybody that got successful was not delusional? It was all delusional. The fuck? You hear all these stories of how people became millionaires and shit. They all had a level of delusion to them. Your life changes when you change. Remember that. Your life changes when you change. I think I'm gonna end the video right here. Shoot, let's have a productive day. Let's spread some love today. And shoot, I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.